Hi everyone. I guess it is live now, so let me start. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Heian and I am CEO of TentuPlay. So in this session, I'm going to share our user-oriented data logging methodology and how we provide a personalized gaming experience to players by utilizing behavioral data. So personalization is gathering behavioral data in real time and designing or producing something to meet an individual's requirements. Or simply put, personalization is about offering service that each individual player wants and needs. So the way we collect and log behavioral data is crucial in analyzing a player's individual wants and needs. So when done incorrectly, information is lost and it becomes difficult to track an individual's information. For example, let us examine a data logging methodology of which users' data is saved and updated to the most current state for game operation purposes. If we were to save data following this method, players AAA and BBB would be analyzed as having the same behavioral data tendencies, both joining in January 1st, and they reached level 30. However, if we log data in time series, recording the history and experiences of players, we can observe that player A and B show entirely different behavior patterns when playing. A played the game regularly with their growth following a pattern which reflects this. However, player B tends to play infrequently but played for large chunks of time when they logged in about once a week. So while a methodology of saving and updating player data to the most current state let us see the results of players' choices, a time series data logging methodology allows us to observe a player's behavioral tendencies and patterns. So think of recording your user data similarly to creating a scrapbook of your child. Just because you take a new picture doesn't mean you should throw away an older picture. Rather, you should continuously add more and more photos, recording their change and growth over time. Similarly, instead of only recording the current status of players, you should be logging their data by taking a snapshot of a player's behavior periodically and collecting these snapshots in a time series format. So let's take a deeper look at our example. Here we recorded the amount of gold a player had at the end of every day. Player A displays a pattern of playing frequently for a short amount of time and save little by little the time she reaches level 30. In comparison, player B plays the game less frequently but with longer play sessions and collects a large amount of gold but uses almost all of it by the time he reaches level 30. We can examine why each player displays such characteristics by examining the context of their behavior in game. So player A gathers gold slowly and consistently from stage rewards and uses gold to level up their skills. Meanwhile, player B tends to earn a lot of golds at once through in-app purchases and ad rewards and uses this gold to purchase characters, open random boxes, and level up skills. So as these two players show different play styles, even with the same result of starting on the same date and reaching the same level at the same time, you can personalize their experience by sending each user different offers. For example, for A, it's logical to assume that this she enjoys progress in game done at her own pace. So you can send her tips and offers to help progress the game if they get stuck. For player B, you can assume that this player wants to progress. This player wants to progress the game as quickly as possible, so you can send the right offer to help him get what he wants. For data, the more frequently it is collected, the better. And the more detailed the information you collect, the more explainable player behavior becomes. However, this is easier said than done. The player's journey is extremely complicated to log and analyze compared to customer journeys of websites or app behavior. There are too many distractions and possible outcomes, or the very worst, churn. So we recommend that you don't consider your users only a user, but maybe a protagonist on their own journey, and to analyze their journey similarly to how one would analyze the journeys of protagonists of some literature. Utilize the 5W1H: who, what, when, where, why, and how. However, this question of why is the most central to our analysis and what we are trying to find out. So we will be doing so by collecting and analyzing data of the other categories, the 4W1H questions. So who refer to a player or the characters that a player is playing? What would be any action that a player engages in, such as killing a monster or equipping new costume? How provides the context to actions, allowing for a more complete narrative, such as killing a monster by using a skill, or equipping a new costume by consuming an in-game currency. When is relatively more straightforward, only requiring you to record a timestamp of the event. Where can be answered by recording which stage a player is playing, whether it be PvE or PvP, or which shops a user consumes in-game currency or make purchases. So through recording data which answers these questions, we can reverse engineer a comprehensive narrative of a user for any event or action within the game. For example, let's think of a situation where a player A plays and beats stage 12 and receives some gold as reward. Following the 4W1H, you can write this situation down as follows, like this. So who, player A, what, got 1,000, maybe 53 gold. How, by beating the stage. When, 2021, January 2nd, 14, 30, 11. Where, at the end of stage 12. And this can be then translated and recorded within data tables that allows and which becomes that follow the 4W1H format. So let me show you how to generalize and streamline the process so that you too can utilize this methodology in recording and analyzing data. First, simplify the structure of your logged data. For us, we divide events into entities and actions. Entities are like subjects of sentences. They are the principal agents that are conducting an action or on which an action is taking places. Examples of entities would be players, characters, currency, items, etc. And actions are literally actions. Players may sign up, log in, level up within your game. Currency such as gold, hearts, or diamonds can be acquired or consumed. Items may be acquired, consumed, dismissed, or even forced to create a higher value item. So similarly to how a sentence is created via the combination of a subject and a predicate, an event is created when an entity makes an action. So how would one categorize these entities? While there are many approaches, TentuPlay organizes entities into three major categories: object, ability, and content entities. Object entities refer to any entities that are physically present in the game, whether they are active or inactive. Ability entities are entities that define a player or character's performance that are not physically present, such as skills, stats, or levels. Content entities refer to game content, such as bonuses, quests, stages, and ads. So one subcategory of object entities are items. While you may be tempted to say an item is an item and group them together, we recommend categorizing items into subcategories by their purpose of use, such as into a group of equipment, consumables, or cosmetic items. So remember, as we said earlier, the more detailed the information you collect, the more explainable player behavior becomes, and different user approaches to item categories often mean that these players have different playing motivations. So for example, let's further examine two different subcategories of items: equipment and cosmetic items. Equipment are items that characters can equip, have associated stats, and can have a level or a rank. Often these levels or ranks can be upgraded, leading to better stats. Cosmetic items similar to equipment can also be equipped, but they do not have stats or and only change the outward appearance of a character. So let's think about a user who focuses on farming and upgrading to the best equipment. Such players would probably be motivated by wanting the best performance from their characters, wanting to be strongest. So in order to cater to such a player's wants and needs, they would probably find personalized tips explaining the strategies of the users at the top of PvP ladder, and personalized offers of in-app purchase packages that these high-ranking users buy. They will find it the most interesting. For users who focus on collecting cosmetic items, their play motivation would probably closer to wanting to beautify their favorite character or wanting to be recognized for their ability to construct an appealing outfit rather than wanting to be ranked number one on the PvP ladder. For these users, it will be more effective to provide personalized offers that show other stylish players' items and recommend cosmetic items to buy. So to return back to the main point, basically, by combining generalized entities and actions, you can generalize the event. So when characters that an ability entity are changed on event, you get the change stat event. When certain equipment on object entity is used to play a stage on action, you get the play stage with equipment event. As such, TentuPlay records over 80 types of events. Our generalized list of events capture almost every interactive event in any game genres, ranging from idle and narrative games to MMORPG and MOBA games. So if you log these events over the life cycle of your players, you gain 4W1H time series data for every player from their first day to the very last day. So here is an example of how TentuPlay does user-oriented data logging. So let's say player XYZ is playing the character ABC. This data is recorded as the player unique ID and character unique ID respectively. Then let's say this player uses 50 gold to enhance the item Sword of Magic. This is recorded within the use currency action. The currency slot being gold and the quantity being 50. The reason why this currency was used is recorded in the field of where to entity, where to category slug, and where to slug in order of specificities. After using 50 gold, 1,270 golds were left over, and this information is recorded within the currency total quantity field. And to connect various events and actions, TentuPlay includes where to entity parameters so that when returning to the data for analysis, it is easy to see and analyze. For example, that user used currency to level up equipment, which can be utilized to reference the level up equipment events to check from what level the equipment started and was leveled up to. And in this case, player XYZ leveled up the Sword of Magic from 10 to 11, and this information can be included in the method's parameters. So now you are ready to analyze your player and send personalized offer. And TentuPlay does everything from collecting data, analyzing segmentation, to creating and sending personalized offers to individual users. After SDK integration, our behavioral economics AI engine automatically allocates players by their interest and play motivations, which results in 28 plus personas. And this AI also creates and sends personalized offers with matching items, matching tips, and matching promotions to players by persona segment. And TentuPlay's behavioral economics AI engine is specialized in user-oriented data analysis, understanding play styles, resource usage habits, play motivations, which can be utilized to understand why a player is playing a game like they do, why a player is leaving the game, or what motivates them to make in-app purchases. So after you integrate the SDK into your game, this is the console you can utilize to use TentuPlay to analyze data and provide personalized offers to your players. After our SDK collects in-game data, our behavioral economics engine will analyze the data, and you get the list of identified player personas, which with personalized messages and item recommendations automatically created for each persona. And if you want to modify the messages, text, or design to fit your game, click the Edit button, and you will be taken to this page where you can easily change the background image and message text. And while players are grouped into persona segments based on similar player motivations, each player has different experiences and metrics in game, which can be used to construct automated personalized messages for each and every player. And finally, you can simply toggle on and off at whether you want to provide AI automated personalized offers by persona segment. So TentuPlay's core value for logging and analyzing behavioral data is to provide the right offer to the right player at the right time. So I hope user-oriented data logging and personalization of gaming experience can help you engage your players more. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for sharing so many information with us. And we have some questions now. I will post the link in the chat so you can follow me there. And thank you again. And for the viewers, you can follow us to the Q&A room and ask your questions there. Thank you.